guys, welcome to the Friday Waffle. Yep, the weekend's just around the corner. Now then, what's been happening this week from a retro gaming perspective? Still making my videos, obviously. What have I been playing? One shameful admission, I've not been playing my main cab much of late. Don't know why, really not too sure. I've actually not been feeling too great. I think I've got a bit of a chest infection at the moment, so I've not been getting out running as much. Well, I have been going out just as much, but I can't run as far. I'm basically getting out of breath very quickly. So I was at the doctor and they gave me a check over. They seem to think it's asthma related, or sorry, exercise related asthma. And they've given me an inhaler which I've tried and it doesn't make any difference. I personally think it's a small chest infection I've got. So anyway, you're not here to listen about my troubles and woes of being an old Scottish bloke. So yeah, retro gaming wise, apart from the games I've been playing for my videos, not a great deal. I've not played Watch Dogs. Now a couple of my mates are actually tell me that Watch Dogs on the PS4 is game of the year. They say it's that good. Now I would be lying if I said I've been playing it a lot. I haven't been playing it a lot. I've tried to get into it and I don't know. I'm struggling. It's not clicking. But I have been told stick with it, and once it clicks, it's an amazing game. So I don't know. One game I have been playing, I managed to get fairly cheap on eBay for the 360, Xbox 360, is Wolfenstein. I don't know what it is. It's the cover of is it Wolfenstein: A New Order? The cover just looks immense. I love the whole kind of Nazi sort of robot type thing. It looks terrifying. It looks absolutely terrifying. So I've actually just started playing that. When I say I've just started, I literally mean I have just started. I've played probably the first 10 minutes. It's on 3 discs, so I'm going to be hammering that. I'll probably get stuck into that over the weekend. I really need to make a point of playing games again. I'm just not playing them as much as I should. Not that it's a priority in life, far from it. There's more important things than playing games, but you know, I'm missing getting a game that I look forward to playing, and I think this one could hopefully be it. So anyway, yep, that's that. Apart from that, not a great deal. Not really. Now I don't know how long this waffle's going to last. It'll last as long as it lasts, obviously. Like Steve Benway, I know Steve very sadly has decided to knock the Friday talkie in the head, which is sad. Not sad. It's not sad at all. Sad's when a child dies or something. It's not sad. I'm sorry to see it go, but I completely agree with what Steve's saying. He's basically said that he has got nothing else to talk about. He said that he felt almost pressured into sort of doing something, and I can kind of understand that. Not that I'm saying I feel pressured, but I think when you put out a regular feature on a specific day, in the case of me, I do this on a Friday, as did Steve, then when the Friday comes around, you do think, shit, I need to get some stuff to talk about. And I must admit, because of this week, I've been quite busy. I've been busy at work actually. I've had other things to think about, and today, when I've been working from home today, when I was sitting thinking about it, I normally do the Friday talkie, not the Friday talkie, I beg your pardon, copyrights there Steve. I normally do the Friday waffle, I record it during the day. If I'm working from home I can do it at lunchtime. But I actually didn't have anything, I hadn't written down anything to talk about. So I was sitting scratching my head thinking, what the hell can I talk about? And it kind of got me thinking, if I've not got anything to talk about, then why make it? And that's absolutely true. I'm not going to knock out one of these things just for the sake of it. But I gave it a bit of thought, and I've managed to come up with a few bits and pieces which hopefully will be semi-interesting. So let's just, I'll wing it and see how I go. Oh, pardon me. Now, as you probably know, I tend not to talk about current stuff. You know, most of my waffles tend to be nostalgic, maybe because I'm an old bloke. I don't know. But yeah, what I was just thinking, I don't know what, something came into my mind earlier on. What I miss are old style computer game shops. Now I know you've got Game Station. Do HMV still sell video games? In fact, do HMV still exist? I don't know, I know they were in a lot of trouble recently, or last year. Do they still exist? I have no idea. I avoid shops like the plague. My wife goes up and gets the messages. If I've got to go up to, there's a big local bloody shopping centre up the road for me. I hate it with a passion. If I'm going up to the shops, I know exactly what I'm getting. I park the car, run in, pick up what I want and piss off. I've not got any time for this walking about shops nonsense. Can't stand it. So I couldn't even tell you if HMV still exists. There used to be one up at the shopping centre, but I don't even know if it's still there. I think it is. Don't know, I really don't know. But yeah, I'm talking about old style gaming shops. I mean, yeah, you've got your Game, you've got Game Station. I know there's a few other shops. There's the Granger stores down in kind of the northeast of England, I think it is. There's these other places, and you have got your wee independent kind of retro shops, but they're pretty rare to be honest. But yeah, I find like I don't go into Game Station or Game very often. Purely and simple, well, it's probably for two reasons. One, the prices. You know, I have to laugh. What was the game I was looking at? There was a game for the PlayStation 4 and it had a sticker, it was in game, it had a sticker and it was only $54.99. Only! You're having a fucking laugh! Only $54.99, what a bargain. Yeah, anyway, prices. The prices in these shops, buying games in shops, proper real life shops, they are expensive. You can always get games cheaper. I mean, I got Last of Us Remake on the PS4 for 30 quid online. In fact, it was £28 I got it for. So yeah, the prices. And secondly, I can't be arsed with being approached. As soon as you walk in, there's somebody on you. Can I help you? Can I help you? And you know, I know they're only trying to do their job, but they're trying to. They start trying to tell you, you know, what games are good, and they almost kind of. I've always felt that they kind of treat you like as if you don't know what you're talking about. Maybe because I'm a grey-haired old person, they think he's buying for his grandkids or something. I don't know, but if I go into a shop, I just want to be left alone. Leave me to it. I know what I'm looking for. If I want help, I'll ask for it. Thanks very much. So yeah, I avoid these kind of places. But anyway, so I find these places they're too clinical. They're just, you know, it's loads of games and that's it. I'm thinking back to the 80s, going into like John Menzies, W.H. Smith. You know, again, I'm just being a fucking nostalgic old fart, but there was nothing that could beat back in the 80s. Going in, you had maybe 20 quid in your pocket, you had enough for a couple of video games, and you went into these shops and you just spent ages and ages and ages picking up boxes, looking at the screenshots, you know, deciding, do I go for that one, do I go for this one, don't know. You would usually have two games, you'd be going, oh, that looks good, but then that one looks good as well. You'd look at the budget games. And what I loved about the old style shops is you could just spend ages watching the games running. I mean, in John Menzies, they always had, you know, maybe 2 or 3 Spectrums, a couple of Commodore 64s. They didn't usually have BBCs, I must admit. It was usually the Spectrum and the Commodore 64s. They would have them running games, and I don't know, I just enjoyed being in them and just taking in the atmosphere. You would maybe stand, read a magazine, you'd look at the latest Crash magazine, then you'd go across, it says look at games, you would try and decide what one to buy. I mean, I can remember as well, going into Edinburgh. I mean, it's about half an hour in the car from Edinburgh, and you used to on a Saturday you would get the bus into Edinburgh specifically. Well, it was usually for 2 reasons. Specifically, that's just contradicting itself. You'd go in for 2 reasons. One, to go into the Virgin Megastore and the John Menzies just to look at games. The Virgin Megastore, it was it was a hotbed of everything great about video games. They used to have everything. They had the 8 bits, they had the 16 bits, they'd have the Jaguar, they had all these machines set up, and it was usually, you know, obviously it was like one floor was just dedicated to video games, and you were just, all these people were standing there taking in, looking at the boxes, and it was like your own wee world of video games. I don't know what it was, I don't know why it felt different. Again, I'm probably just being bloody nostalgic, rose-coloured spectacles and all that. But it was exciting. Going into a video game shop was really exciting. You know, you just wanted to see what was there. You look at games getting played, you'd look at magazines. It's something now that just doesn't, I don't get any thrill at all now going into a video game shop. Just don't get that. So anyway, yeah, again, it's probably just because back then things were new. You know, the 16-bit was exciting, the 8-bit was the sort of like the birth of the video game, and then you had the 16-bit, then you had the consoles. I mean, even like, I think as well back then, boxes were different. Like the 16-bit boxes, Mega Drive, the Super Nintendo, they had all this original artwork, and you know, I don't know, picking up a box felt like you were holding something. I know that sounds stupid. Whereas nowadays, every game is just in a generic DVD case. You hardly even look at the screenshots now. But back then, I says, especially the SNES games that were in the cardboard box, you know, you felt like, I don't know what it was, you felt like you were getting something for your money. You were getting a proper cartridge, whereas now, it's just a sterile disc. You know, I don't know. Oh, the dogs are kicking off downstairs. So yeah, again, it's probably just the rose-coloured spectacles and the nostalgia thing. But I miss the computer shops of the 1980s. I mean, I've spoken about the original computer shop I used to go to and that sold Ataris. I'm not going to go into that again. But yeah, computer shops of the 80s and even early 90s. It was an experience going into them, whereas nowadays you go into a game, it's just a sterile experience. You go in, you pick up the box, and you go in, you leave. So anyway, yeah, that's that one, guys. Right, okay, cards on the table. YouTube dislikes. I think I've been getting quite a few of them for some reason, even in a couple of views. And I seem to be getting, a lot of my videos recently seem to be getting a dislike almost instantly. Now I know that people are completely entitled to do that, I don't have a problem with that. What I'm asking, or what I'm thinking about is, why do we have a dislike button for YouTube? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's not like, I mean, if you go to book a hotel, you can go to a thing called TripAdvisor, and it will give people's comments and reviews if a hotel is shit or not. And I completely get that. You know, if you're going to spend money on a hotel or whatever it may be, buying a car, you want to know that you're getting value for money. So you know, people, you're perfectly entitled to leave negative comments, because that's good. It means that somebody else isn't going to make the same mistake and buy a car or go to a restaurant that happens to be really, really crap. So I can completely understand people disliking a particular thing, but YouTube channels or YouTube videos disliking them, I don't really understand why they exist. I mean, that for starters, YouTube videos are free to make. I mean, all of us that make them, we do it because A, we enjoy it, and it's, you know, it's nice to get a bit of feedback. I really do enjoy that aspect of it. But when you had one view and they dislike it, I don't know. The kind of frustrating factor for me is you don't know who's left the dislike. You know, I would like it if the person that left the dislike would give you a reason, say, you know, are they disliking you? Are they disliking the subject matter? Are they thinking that your actual video is crap? I don't know. Or are they merely saying they don't like the game, so they're disliking it? I just feel it's awfully harsh having a dislike button for a video. I don't quite know what it actually gives. liking something is fair enough because, or maybe I'm being a bit kind of want my cake and eat it. You know, I don't mind getting likes, but I don't want any dislikes. I don't know. I mean, if I'm scrolling through videos and you know you see like I don't know 10,000 likes, you think this must be an interesting video. So you maybe watch it. So I can understand the like aspect, but I just feel that dislikes. It seems obvious to say this, but it's like a very negative thing. I don't quite know why the dislike button actually exists. I would never. I mean, I've watched videos, as probably most of you have done. You watch videos, and you maybe think, "Nah, that's not my cup of tea." You maybe don't agree with the person. You maybe think to yourself, "I'm not interested." I mean, 9 times out of 10, if I'm watching a video and I switch it off, it's because I'm not interested in watching it any further. It would have to be something really, really negative to make me leave a dislike. I don't think I've ever, in fact I can categorically say I've never ever disliked a video. There's been videos I watch and think, nah, that's not my cup of tea, and I just put it off. I mean, if I enjoy a video, I always make a point of liking it. But to leave a dislike, I mean, if somebody was, I don't know, actively promoting cruelty to animals, then absolutely you would dislike it and you'd probably make a comment and say, this is a bad video because whatever, for whatever reason. But I just find it slightly odd that people that obviously they put videos together, guys like ourselves, to hopefully entertain people, and then you get people disliking them. I know I'm probably a bit too kind of sensitive, and I suppose I am. I mean, I'm hang on a little second, guys. Sorry about that. Personal issues kicking off there. Dogs fighting. Anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, dislike button. I dislike the dislike button. I don't see I really don't see what it brings. It doesn't. It's not like if you had to pay to watch a video, then by all means having a dislike button is fine, because then people are going to go. It's like, you know, you buy an app on the iOS store, people will leave their comments. That's fair enough, because at the end of the day, you're paying money for something. So if it's crap, then you want to know. And I think people are well within their right to say, I dislike this because for whatever reason. But YouTube videos, they're made for free. People like us make them because we enjoy it, but we don't charge for people, you know, to watch our videos. So I just think that the dislike button is I don't see the point of it. I would love to know what your thoughts are. Is there a point to the dislike button? What purpose does it serve? Anyway, I've harboured this point enough. So let's move on. Now let's see. Favourite and worst 8-bit software house. Obviously this is one for the older viewers. What is your favourite 8-bit and your least favourite 8-bit house? I had a Commodore 64, and I would probably say US Gold was my favourite. I know they didn't actually write software per se, they just imported it. But out of all the games that I used to enjoy in the Commodore 64, it was pretty much, I wouldn't say 99%, but I would say the majority of the games that I used to enjoy were games, and I hate to say this, were games that had been imported from America. All the classic games, you know, your Bruce Lee, Fort Apocalypse, all these games. There was Beachhead, Beachhead 2, Beachhead, what was it called? Beachhead 3? No, Raid Over Moscow. Beachhead 2, sorry, Raid Over Moscow. All these games. I suppose, I thought there was somebody coming in there. I suppose, thinking about it, the Commodore 64 was a massive, it was massively popular in the States, so obviously it had a lot of games getting written for it. So things like US Gold, it existed because it was able to bring across the best of American software. It wasn't always the best American software, by the way, but there was a lot of software they could import and make it available to people in the UK. Whereas computers like the Amstrad and Spectrum, they didn't really have a following that I'm aware in the US. So what you tended to find was the games that came out from US Gold on these platforms wasn't written. It wasn't written in the States for them. It was probably written in the UK but released under US Gold. Does that make any sense? What I'm trying to say is the original game was probably for the Commodore 64, things like, you know, Beachhead, and then it was obviously ported across to other machines. But yeah, I don't know, I just think the US Gold, to my mind, I mean, there was other great software houses. I mean, Gremlin Graphics, they had a lot of cracking games. Obviously Ocean, who can forget Ocean? I was never a big fan, I must admit, of film tie-ins. So Ocean were never my sort of favourite company, publisher. I loved Lamasoft. These games were like Marmite, you either liked them or you didn't like them. What else? What other software houses? Domark, Elite again, they're kind of hit or miss with the Commodore 64, but nah, I would say based on the number of games that I had from a 64 that I liked, US Gold was probably my favourite publisher on the C64. Least favourite, it's probably a kind of daft question, because you wouldn't, if it was your least favourite, then you wouldn't have actually bought games. Well, I'd like to think you wouldn't buy games if they were shit, but I would probably say the crappiest 8-bit producer, and again I'm thinking Commodore 64, because at the end of the day, back in the day, I only had a Commodore. I couldn't really comment on Spectrum stuff because I didn't own one. My mate did, but I didn't own one, so I couldn't really see I was in a, you know, I could comment properly. But yeah, Interceptor Software, I think they're called Interceptor Software, then they became Interceptor Micros. Now they were one of the very, very, very early publishers. Well, they had their own programmers and they published their own games on the Commodore 64, and their games were basically shite. They were seriously bad. I mean, because they came out in the early days, a lot of their games were based on arcade games. So you had like Frogger, the Frogger 64. There was Crazy Kong, which I did a mashup. I think it was actually mashup number 2 or number 3. I'm sure it was number 2. So have a look at that. If you want any confirmation how bad these guys were, have a look at my mashup number 2, Crazy Kong and the Commodore 64. Obviously based on Donkey Kong, but it was bloody awful. I think a lot of their games were written in BASIC as well. But yeah, some of the, in fact I would say most of the games, what other game did they have? There was like Arabian Nights, bloody dire. And I says they were never afraid to actually copy other programmers. I mean, Jeff Minter with Lamasoft, he in fact there's a bit of a tale here. Jeff Minter and what was his name? Now I'm not even going to say the name because I'm not too sure. I don't want to cause any ruckus. But Jeff and the chap that set up Interceptor Micros, there was the two of them, and then I think they had a fallout, and Jeff Minter left them and started Lamasoft Software. But this guy who continued, his ex-partner, his business partner, he continued to run Interceptor Software or Micros, whatever the hell they're called. And a lot of the games that he released, they were blatant, and I mean blatant rip-offs of some of Lamasoft software. And he used to actually actively slag them off. You know, you got the wee scrolling message at the start of the game, which was pretty bad. But nah, I mean, they had other stuff like Siren City. They were an early company, but then there was other companies like Analog Software. They were out at the same time as Interceptor Software, and their games were brilliant. These games were 100 times better than Interceptor. But yeah, honestly, don't get me wrong, I think there was one or two, I couldn't even name one. There might have been a couple semi-decent Interceptor games. I think there was one, it was an adventure game. I can't remember the name of it, Caverns or something. I can't remember the name of it at all. There might have been a couple of alright games, but honestly I would say 99% of Interceptor Micro games were pish, with a capital P. So yeah, I would probably say that was the worst, in my opinion, that was the worst 8-bit company. So yeah, let's crack on. We've got a couple more things to talk about. Talking about bad games, was there ever a game that was wholly recognised as being terrible, but you played it? You know, you wanted to play it. Now I had to think about this, and I'm really going back far now. It was a game. It was, what was the hell was it called? The Fabulous Wonder. Yep, Google it. The Fabulous Wonder. I can't even remember who made it. It was for the Commodore 64. It was written in BASIC, and it was absolutely dire. I remember reading a review. I think Computer and Video Games reviewed it, and it got, I don't know, 10% or something. It was abysmal. And I can remember getting a copy of it, loading it up, and it was, firstly, it was written in BASIC. The sound, graphics were non-existent. The sound was terrible. It was typically like white noise sound that you got in most basic games. It was atrocious, absolutely awful game. But there was this one bit. Where you could gamble, and it was basically a pontoon, higher and lower. And you know, you would bet, like, I think they had like a virtual currency. It was like set in space or something, supposedly, with like a virtual currency. So you could bet like whatever, just say like £5 when you're playing this game. And I remember me and my mate started playing this, and the actual, just playing this bloody pontoon game, we got addicted to it, and we ended up spending days and days and days just building up the sort of the money that you could win with this stupid game. And the actual game itself, the game itself was crap, but you know, we just got addicted to the actual pontoon thing. And I actually need to dig it out. I mean, I've not played it in a long time. It was one of the first games that I actually got. I mean, it was written in BASIC, which kind of tells its own story. So yeah, The Fabulous Wonder, have a look at that on the Commodore 64. I'd be surprised if there was actually a video. I might actually do a 10-minute mashup of it, just for old time's sake. So yeah, Fabulous Wonder, Commodore 64. Yes, and okay, this last one is actually a video response. So I'm going to have to pause the camera for 2 seconds, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back again. Yep, this is a video response. Lone Boys Post 1975. What did he ask? What was the exact question? Was, did you ever or have you got a childhood toy that you could not live without? Now, I've been watching a few of them, and I think you probably know what's coming. I do indeed, and it's this little guy here. I don't think he ever had a name. Now this little guy here, oh dearie me, he's actually got a wee split in his neck. I'm 46, and I was given him when I was born. I think I can't even remember who gave me him. I got that in hospital when I was born. So he is 46 plus years old. Now, his arms and legs used to move. You can see there, his wee leg turns. But because how old he is, he's been split in and he's been sewn to within an inch of his life. This little arm is now permanently out like that. This wee arm is also sewn, doesn't turn. It says that leg turns. This leg appears to be sewn as well because he's kind of split. He's virtually bald at the front. I think he's actually got wood shavings inside him. Yep, he's virtually bald. You can actually see, if you look, well, you're not going to see it there. If you look inside his neck, you can see the colour of the original fur. But yeah, I've had him all my life. He was up in the loft for a long time. Now, when I kind of got a bit older, maybe I don't know, 5 or 6, I used to throw him about. I used to do some really cruel things to him. So I don't know why he's hung about. But now my little girl has taken him. I think he calls him Honey. I'm not too sure. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. But yeah, this little guy has been with me all my life, and there's certainly no way that I'm ever going to get rid of him. Too many happy memories. So anyway, yep, that's him, that's Honey. Coming up, nothing else to shout out there. coming up, I'm going to continue with what I'm doing. The Arcade Perfect videos seem to be going down quite well. The only pity with making these, I notice when I try and record the arcade game on my PC, when I'm running the screen dump software or screen capture software, it seems to run quite slow, so I'm having to use the point and click, put the camera in front of the TV again. But yeah, the usual videos. I've kind of, because what I was saying earlier on, I've kind of not been playing my MameCab for a wee while. I've just got out of the habit of playing it. I've not been doing any missile commands, so there's been no more I want to be a video game champ. I'm probably going to retire that idea. It was a good idea at the time, I quite enjoyed playing Berserk, but nah, I'll continue what I'm doing, guys. So, anything else? Just before I go, I mentioned this before, there still seems to be a bit of a lack of videos from a lot of people. I mean, there's guys like the Shadow's Nose. Does anybody know what's happened to him? He hasn't put out a video for a long time. I would say maybe a couple of months. The last video I watched of his it was nothing to do with retro gaming. He was actually walking to a brewery in Germany, and the video lasted about an hour or 2 hours. It was basically him walking to a brewery. But anyway, yeah, he's not made a video for quite a while. Does anybody know what's up? I hope everything's alright. I do realise that making videos is secondary to real life and jobs and what have you, your personal life. Obviously Steve Benway's been quite quiet of late. He's had other things to kind of get on with, and I'm absolutely delighted to see him back again. Looking forward to watching him. The usual suspects are still knocking out videos, Monkey Spaz. Chris Shanks being a bit quiet of late, although I think he's got his Two Fat Bastards programme on tonight, which I'm going to be tuning in for. Well, I'm saying tonight, I'm making this currently on Friday afternoon, so it's going to be Friday tonight. If you're watching this on Saturday, then you've missed the Two Fat Bastards, but if you go to Chris Shanks' channel, you can watch it from there. So anyway guys, yep, that is it. I hope you have a good weekend. If you're watching this on Friday, I hope you have a good weekend. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. Please feel free to leave comments, subscribe, that would be utterly fantastic. And yeah, nothing else to say apart from thanks for watching.